So on screen, we have the chart of the Scorpio full moon. This is occurring at 6:55 a.m. Hawaii time on May 12th, 2025. So you'll want to adjust to your time zone. And the full moon is occurring at 22 degrees and 12 minutes of Scorpio zodiac sign. So you can see the moon here. And the moon is conjunct asteroid goddess Juno. The moon is opposite the sun at 22 Taurus, 12 minutes, and the sun is conjunct Uranus at 26 degrees, 59 minutes of Taurus, and asteroid goddess Hygeia at the very same degree and minute, exactly conjunct Uranus. This is so profound. So, just with the sun and the moon, we see these two asteroid goddesses present. I've also drawn in Ceres, which is exactly conjunct Saturn and Pisces at this time, as well as Chariklo, which is a centaur, and Pallas Athena at 23, 22, and 23 degrees of Aquarius, trining Jupiter in Gemini. And I don't always draw in the goddesses, but I did this time because they seem to be so profound, and really that goddess divine feminine energy seems to be so profound, really granting us this transmission of divine feminine mastery. Also here with Venus at 8 degrees Aries 1 minute in a trine harmonious flow of energy with Varuna, a dwarf planet that's currently at 8 degrees of Leo. And this dwarf planet Varuna is all about mastery. So Scorpio in and of itself is a feminine or yin water sign. It is a fixed water sign. So it is water that is still, water that is not in motion. And it's infinitely deep, very powerful, very mystical, very magical, deeply emotional, and very, very sensitive as well. So, this moon with Juno, Juno is an asteroid goddess that really to me speaks of loyalty. Very profound and deep loyalty. And Scorpio is arguably the most loyal of the zodiac signs. So to have this asteroid goddess of loyalty here in the most loyal of zodiac signs conjunct the moon, there is this sense of, oh, and in America, this is happening the day after Mother's Day. Moon, the mother, and this sense of loyalty and commitment to mother and nurturing with the moon your own mother, maternal lineage, your own internalized sense of divine mother, your connection to divine mother, yourself as mother being, as nurturer, that inner mother, that inner moon within you seeking nurturance and commitment. So there is a sense of very, very deep loyalty here to the maternal lineage, to the mother archetype as it pertains to the divine feminine. And this is being lit up by this full moon conjunct Uranus. And it is almost a 5-degree orb here, but the sun is with Uranus at the time of this full moon. The sun will make its conjunction, its exact conjunction to Uranus. I will show y'all that in the next slide just a few days later, but we will be feeling this at this time. And again, Uranus with Hygeia, Hygeia, an asteroid goddess that is about healing, that's about physical healing, that is about the healing arts, as well as health and natural hygiene. What are the basics of your health habits and health practices that contribute to your well-being? And so shining a light of awareness and encouragement to lean into those at this time of increased awakening Uranus, increased electrical activity Uranus, surprises, disruptions, the awakening awareness that Uranus is so widely known for and always assisting us in shaking up stagnant energy and making space for change and receiving the new. And this is really echoed by when we look at Scorpio zodiac sign and the moon in Scorpio with regard to medical astrology. So, Scorpio zodiac sign, body zone. So, in our physical bodies, Scorpio encompasses the colon, the rectum, bladder, genitals, the nose, our sense of smell, our sweat glands, uterus, anus, sacrum, and coccyx. So the organs of elimination are in the governance of Scorpio zodiac sign. So those areas could come into greater focus at this time. And leaning into with the moon there in Scorpio, in what ways can you nourish and nurture and responsibly tend these areas of your body so that they can function optimally? Scorpio moons are cold and moist. So Scorpio is a water sign, passionate, courageous. We could be feeling more emotional at this time, aphrodisiac. So in the mood for sensuality, sexuality, intense emotions, and amplification of our desire nature. Strong healing force comes with Scorpio, as well as the moon in Scorpio being very cathartic. So, this is an excellent time for release. This is an excellent time for something like a colon cleanse or some kind of purification. Again, this is not medical advice or health advice. I'm not a medical practitioner or doctor. I have a background as a holistic health coach, and I am in the ongoing study and practice of medical astrology. So I'm just sharing this as a lesson, as something you can take or leave, and definitely use your best judgment with what I'm sharing here. But just to give you an example, this is something I'm considering doing around this time is like eating watermelon. Watermelon is a very cleansing fruit. And if I can find some good watermelon here in Hawaii, it's not known to grow here very well, although in drier islands such as Maui, we get watermelon from Maui. So I'm going to see if at this time I can find some watermelon and just kind of facilitate some gentle cleansing using watermelon, using fruit. So that's just an example of how I'm working with this energy. Scorpio zodiac sign is ruled and guided by our modern ruler, our modern guide of Pluto, that's still in Aquarius, recently stationed retrograde. So we are still in that orb of influence of Pluto changing direction. So an amplification of that transformation energy and really facilitating us in letting go of anything that's no longer serving our highest good, anything that is obstructing our full embodiment of our true power and our connection and sense of embodying our soul's wisdom and mastery. And at the time of this full moon, Pluto and Mercury are in a square alignment. So you can see Mercury at 3 degrees, 46 minutes of Taurus in a square with Pluto at 3 degrees, 48 minutes. So this is a time when certainly we could see truth coming out, awakening awareness. This could be occurring definitely on the global stage, but also in your own life, a greater sense of truth, of throat chakra activation, third eye activation, and maybe a need to speak your truth, to know your truth. This could already with Sun, Uranus, insights, awarenesses, downloads. Write them down here. Do some automatic writing. Do some automatic speaking in a voice memo. This could be more creative communication. This could be galactic contact, talking to your spirit guides, having greater awareness and wisdom and experiences of your soul coming through at this time, wanting to be in your awareness. So definitely engage your deep listening here. And when we look at the galactic chart, we see Mercury is opposite Shapley attractor. And this is one of those drawing forces of our universe that is a kind of cosmic anomaly that defies our current scientific understanding. And so, with Mercury in this opposition, we could be like receiving this drawing power, this force of attraction. This is making me think too of like mental manifestation. So, be aware of where your mind is and be focusing on what you want to create and the reality you want to empower for yourself, your relationships in the world, because we have this drawing power with our mind. And this is also being reinforced when we look at the Sun conjunct Capulus star in Perseus constellation. Perseus, the male warrior prince in the sky. And Capulus is this star of awakening male Kundalini energy. And with the Sun in conjunction with this star, Capulus in particular is so powerful that this male masculine driving force of the Kundalini is so powerful that it is very important to be focusing on what you desire, Scorpio, what you want to empower, what you want to create, and just be very mindful of your energy and your focus with this. This seems like a really great lunation for that kind of manifesting dreams and desires and making sure your mental energy, you're guiding it where you want it to be because it could be guided elsewhere. I mean, this is such a highly like distracting kind of a time, and that's coming through these mutable signs here with, North Node and Pisces, South Node and Virgo. Mutable signs do have that kind of distracting going in all the different directions. It's energy and motion. The North Node in Pisces, Ceres in Pisces, Saturn still in Pisces, not too much longer. Jupiter and Gemini, highly distractible energy with our minds and our nervous systems. And looking too at this alignment, Jupiter at 2347, Gemini is conjunct the star Capella in Auriga constellation. And Auriga is a shepherd in the sky holding a little baby goat, and really, really precious. And the star Capella is very connected to those simpler times and even, simpler ways of being with each other, more of like the indigenous ways and the ancient ways and the tribal ways of this earth. And then within the star system, too, my experiences with it have been in more of a tribal, ancient, very spiritually connected, but simpler kind of existence. It's very advanced spiritually, but is not so materially oriented, although all the material needs are well covered and you have everything you need, but it's like you're really in touch with what matters most and what your basic and fundamental needs are, and that sense of community and togetherness and communion with the earth. So we can tune into that through Jupiter. Taurus is very much in alignment with that, where the Sun and Uranus and Hygeia are, that this could be something that really serves our health and our well-being at this time too, is to slow down, tune into the earth, simplify, streamline. And Jupiter in trine with both Chariklo and Pallas Athena, that when we do simplify and streamline, we can be in touch with the healing grace of Cheroklo, this beautiful centaur of holding space, of pure presence, of just being there and being love and being healing. You don't even need to say anything or do anything. You just are the healing essence. And Pallas Athena, this goddess asteroid of great wisdom and intelligence and strategy. And we can receive these downloads and insights when we are still and silent and connected to the earth and connected to those simple pleasures and simpler ways of life as a human being now. So really, really lovely there. The moon. Oh, this is really beautiful to bring in here too. The galactic alignment with the moon is a gorgeous star, Beta Centauri Hadar in Centaurus constellation connected to Chiron in the sky, in the stars. So this healer, teacher, mentor being Centaur in the sky. And this particular star, Hadar, has this resonance with unconditional pure love, with heaven on earth, with being in a realm of all there is love. It makes me think in Reiki of the third heaven of consciousness, where all there is love, and it's peace and beauty and tranquility, and has more of the beautiful nature and kind of form of a planet like Earth. And where all the beings are enlightened, and there's just this sense of safety and purity and peace. So knowing that that is there to support us, and we can really tap into this energy of heaven on earth. Venus is almost as far as she went earlier this year. So she's catching up to where her path of her retrograde cycle. So at 8 degrees, 1 minute of Aries zodiac sign, she is making a conjunct alignment with Alpha Reticulum and Reticulum constellation. So very connected to the Zeta Reticuli beings, these beings of the future. And with this star and star system, like an alternative future self emanation of the human beings and human species on earth now. This is like contact with our future selves and contact with the future humans, the new humans, the ascendants, the descendants. So coming into contact and listening, Venus, we can listen and receive guidance and messages and energy, healing, light transmission energies from our future selves, our descendants, ascendants, future earth human beings. And so to know that this is there as well, and receiving an awakening of our support and our mastery with Venus in this trine with Varuna, and even a separating trine with Mars. Or no, it's approaching its trine, because Venus is moving faster and will complete an exact trine with Mars at some point soon. So lots of support and integration and balance with that divine feminine, divine masculine energy. And we are very much on the healing agenda with Chiron in a 1 degree of orb with conjunction with Eris, in conjunction with Eris, a goddess energy of the divine feminine, the warrior goddess sister of Mars, and very much that wilder, freer, more instinctual aspect of the divine feminine that is committed to justice and peace and everybody having what they need, all voices being heard, all needs being cared for. So, really beautifully supportive here in all the different aspects and faces of the divine feminine, and the ancient ruler of Scorpio zodiac sign, the ancient guide, is Mars. So Mars in this harmonious trine with Venus seems very, very supportive at this time and ushering us into a greater sense of mastery and balance with our divine masculine. And this is also echoed the sun with this divine masculine Kundalini force of Capula. So we are coming into harmony, and Venus is like my new favorite planet. Let me just put that out there. Venus is where we can look to in any given chart for harmony and harmonizing and balance and coming into coherence. So to just know that, and that we can do that. And Venus too in Mars's sign at this time in the trine, it's like they're in this communion, this interchange here. We have this ability to transmute and alchemize and harmonize that divine feminine, divine masculine in a really profound way. So that's something to know, that as Venus makes her full transit through Aries, she will change signs and enter Taurus eventually, either later this month. It might actually be in June. Let's see. Let's go to our next slide here. So Venus will change sign, it looks like, after our Gemini new moon, so beyond May 26th. I've only put the transits up for the next couple weeks so that we can kind of take this piece by piece. So the energy, just in overview here, a word that came through was sparky. And I was like, okay. And the next word that came through is sparkly. So can we transmute and alchemize sparky astrological energy into sparkly astrological energy? And I think we can. If you're watching this video, then I think you have the power to do that if you are so inclined to engage this alchemical process. So May 12th, as I said, we have that full moon. May 17th, the sun will perfect its conjunction with Uranus at 27 degrees of Taurus zodiac sign in 17 minutes. So this is like, be on the outlook for downloads, insights, awakening, genius ideas, innovations, galactic contact, future self contact, star wisdom, all the different things, technological communications, types of insights and awarenesses, and also being really mindful of the nervous system. And if you're feeling like really jazzed up, to ground into that Taurian energy, to slow down, to integrate, to lean into the earth energy and be still and be. And in this stillness practice, and when we ground down, we can receive those insights and genius ideas, and also the light transmissions. This is a day to be open to transmissions of light and frequency and anchoring in new energies. May 20th, the sun enters Gemini. So it's been in Taurus. This is slow and steady, step by step. Gemini is zingy, it's fast, it's going, it's mentally stimulating. So this could contribute to that sense of like information overload and kind of overwhelm, distraction quality. So to just know this, and to again practice focusing your energy where you want to go. Lots of different rabbit holes will look appealing, and it's the Gemini mastery to choose your rabbit holes carefully, because with Gemini you're gonna be down the rabbit holes. So pick which ones you want to go down and focus there, and they can be quite productive and illuminating. This is a time too to like lean into your natural curiosity. What do you want to discover and explore? And with Sun conjoining Uranus just before Sun enters Gemini, it's like whatever guidance or insights open May 17th, May 20th, the time that the sun is in Gemini, you could be following the tributaries of of the awakening that Uranus is facilitating. And that's supported too with Mercury following the Sun, making its conjunction with Uranus May 24th, 27 degrees, 42 minutes of Taurus zodiac sign. So this is more insights, awakening, light bulbs, innovation, galactic contact, technology, communications, all of those sorts of things. Ideas of the future, future self contact. There's so much of that that's very, very present. And I think we're being invited to really stabilize that because look at what is coinciding with Mercury conjunct Uranus is Saturn entering Aries. So this is a big energy shift. I will make a separate video about Saturn entering Aries. I'm teaching a class on this transit. I'm so excited about it. This is my second class in a row on Saturn. It's been a very strong inner authority activation, empowerment activation. So this Mercury conjunct Uranus coinciding with Saturn changing signs is very, very profound and really feels like we are going into very new territory. We are awakening our star wisdom and knowledge, our galactic wisdom and knowledge, our connection to our future selves, our connection to really being free of any of the limitations of our past and liberating into that sense of limitless possibilities. Uranus is the planet of liberation, so liberating our minds here with Mercury conjunct Uranus and expanding into new horizons of growth, of awareness, of possibilities. This feels very, very high vibration and high flying and very, very freeing, like untethering, unshackling. And this will be amplified just as the sun made its conjunction with Uranus, then enters Gemini. The Mercury makes its conjunction with Uranus, and then the Mercury will enter Gemini on May 25th. So even more of that mental freedom and following the tributaries of the rabbit holes and curiosities and learning what you need to know. This is very supportive of communication, of ideas, of information, of socializing, sociability, and really brings in a light and feathery kind of energy after following our Taurus season. So on the 26th, we have our new moon in Gemini at 6 degrees, 5 minutes of Gemini. And I will host a distant Reiki share for that. So I'll share a little bit more about that on the next slide. And you can find the link to join that in the description box below this video. Those are free and I host them every new moon. So strong Aries, strong Taurus, strong Gemini, these parts of your chart will all be lit up at this time by Mercury, Uranus, the Sun, and Saturn. And see if you can transmute that sparkiness into sparkles if you so desire. Let me know your thoughts about what's coming through with this. This feels very light and very freeing. And what may have felt like a heavier, slower first half of May really turns into something that's like lighter, brighter, and faster towards the end of the month and fresh. I'm hearing the word fresh come in with this. So, as I said, May 24th, I'm teaching a class on Saturn ingress Aries, courageous spirit embodied, a video to come with more information about that transit and exactly what will be covered in that class so you can feel into if that's for you or not. May 26th, I'm hosting a free Gemini new moon distant Reiki share. The information will be linked below this video in the description. TaylorNorrisReiki.com is where you can find out more about the new moon distant Reiki shares, the Astro Reiki classes I teach, as well as one-on-one astrology readings, soul readings, as well as Reiki journey sessions. So I'm so grateful for your presence, your heart connection, the way you are showing up and serving and being in this alchemical process of Scorpio and all of this lightness. It really feels like whatever we're transmuting and releasing with the Scorpio full moon is making space for whole new levels of liberation and empowerment and limitless possibilities as we progress through the rest of the month of May and then beyond May as well as Saturn enters Aries. That's a longer transit, and Uranus soon to enter Gemini. So lots more to talk about in the coming weeks and updates. And I'm just so grateful to connect with you, and I'm so grateful to live in a time where we can talk about these things and be in this growing awareness of our connection to the stars and to the cosmos and to our beautiful solar system and this beautiful planet Earth, and come together in that awareness. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It is true, and so it is. Mahalo.